I like everybody to imagine themselves resting in the last hours of their lives. You're surrounded by your friends and family. You feel content. However, you still say to yourself in those last hours, I wish I could do more. I wish I could accomplish all my goals. Achieve all my desires. We all take life for granted. And we live a very short life. We all heard it before. Life is short. We are on a countdown. And anything could happen at any time. Mankind has lived for 120,000 years. But we can live up to only 120 years. So it's a waste of time it's a waste of time to think and to live a life of fear and sadness and regret. We are all fragile, are we not? In the news every day, we hear tragic stories of people living their normal lives, struck by an unfortunate situation where their lives were lost. Just earlier today, I heard the news that there was a train accident in Washington, D.C. Nobody was expecting for that type of tragedy to happen to their friends and family. Did they get the chance to say goodbye to their friends and family? Of course not. But did they have the state of mind that if that was to happen, if there was to be a tragedy like that, did they fulfill their lives? Did they live a life that they could look back and say, I did my best? We hope so, but not many of us do. The problem is that some of us and some people that we know really don't live to live. They live to die. We have mediocrity in our lives, right? We know some people that do the same things. They go to work and they come back home and it becomes very repetitive and they don't go out much. They don't experience new things. They don't learn how to play an instrument, or they don't get involved in community activities such as Toastmasters, and they don't get out there to really live the life that they want. And again, life is not meant to be a feather blowing in the wind. Life is meant to be an arrow piercing through the air, striking its target. And that's what we have to focus on, because that's where we achieve our potential and how our potential shines. Yes, we all could live a life that is mediocre, and we look back at it and say, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. But now that we're here and we're in the present, we have to change that state of mind. And by doing that, we have to be aware. We have to be aware that we're living. I want everybody to just take a breath and breathe out. Feel that breath. It's very comforting. It's a comforting feeling to breathe. It makes us centered. It brings us to the present. But when we do pass on and our spirit, our soul moves on, are we going to feel that breath again? Are we going to see beautiful, breathtaking sunsets? Are we going to listen to our favorite song? Are we going to taste our favorite dessert, the cheesecake, the chocolate ice cream? Are we going to touch our loved ones and hold their hands? All these beautiful senses that make life worth living, we don't feel that in the afterlife. Our energy source will just float into the darkness of the universe. Will we be seen in heaven? Maybe so, maybe not. But now that we're here living life and breathing, we can experience an excitement. We can experience an adventure. We could take those sensations and enhance them and bring purpose to them, rather than just living day by day, thinking how we could do something different. I'd like to share a story with you about my cousin. She's actually my second cousin, and she is, well, I have to say she was fighting cancer for 9 years. She was in her late 50s, and yes, she was struck by ovarian cancer. And she was diagnosed back in about 2000. She was a very lively woman. She lived. She was surviving cancer for so many years, had multiple surgeries, knowing that at any time it could just get worse and it could be the end. But she didn't see it that way because she was aware. She was aware of the potential of what living can do to an individual. She worked in finance, and she worked in commercial real estate, and she was running her own business. While she was fighting cancer, she still served her purpose. She taught at a college in Fullerton. She taught finance. She was an instructor. She helped me. She mentored me. She brought me in her company at one time and helped me get some experience in real estate. So yes, she was sick. She was on heavy medication. But her life energy was so beyond mind that it became very inspiring. Because even though she was going through this experience by facing death and fighting it, she still did what she can to make a difference in this world. She still lived to live. She didn't call it quits. And that's very inspirational. And I'm sure some of us do have someone in our lives that we know that is a fighter in those kind of situations. And these are the kind of people that could set an example for ourselves. One thing that I do like to share is that when we live, we understand that we are in a countdown. We know that there will be a time where it will come to the end. However, as long as we keep aware that we're living in the moment, that we're not living and not doing what we want to do because there's the fear, that's what's going to create the regret. So, as I do conclude here, I would really like to have all of you keep this quote in mind that I just mentioned earlier. Remember, we do not want to be a feather blowing in the wind. We want to be an arrow, piercing the air, shooting its target. And I like for all of us to remember this when we wake up every day, so that we know that we have a direction and that we have a purpose to fulfill, and that our potential is always there for us to take advantage of, because we never know when it could be the end. So when you have a choice whether to live or we have a choice to call it the end, what are you going to choose? We're going to choose to live. So let's all live.
Ooh.